You got the state?
Sitting at the end.
Got the state? I need the state.
On the end.
The state. Well, I'm okay, Gary. You well? Well, we live in a trying country, in trying times. I have more than. I can't comment on that. Gcom is the authority.
You want me that side?
Yeah, so. There's no reason to move them.
Terry, I'm about to make a press conference.
No.
Okay.
A lot. No, but like a possible. Yeah, we have to know.
Oh, sorry, pull in. Sorry. Long is out. Put down your fancy shit, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, whenever you're ready, please, especially the gentlemen with the cameras. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the media. Welcome to our press conference for today, the second press conference of the day, where we're focusing on basically a 2015 election update. I'll begin by introducing the panel. Of course, I'll start from my immediate right, Mr. Joseph Harmon, co-chair for a Partnership for National Unity Alliance for Change campaign. Mr. Moses Nagamutu, prime ministerial candidate for a Partnership for National Unity Alliance for Change. Brigadier David Granger, presidential candidate for a Partnership for National Unity Alliance for Change. Dr. Rupert Rupnarain, senior executive member in a Partnership for National Unity Alliance for Change. And Mr. Raphael Trotman, co-chair of a Partnership for National Unity Alliance for Change. We'll first start off by having the presidential candidate read a statement.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the media. The Partnership for National Unity plus Alliance for Change coalition has been tabulating the statements of poll coming into our operations center. The results show that in what were formerly PPPC strongholds in the Essequibo Islands West Demerara region, region number 3, Mahaica Berbice region, region number 5, and the East Berbice Quarantine region, region number 6, the coalition has made significant inroads. In the Demerara Mahaica region, region number 4, and the Upper Demerara Berbice region, region number 10, the APNU+AFC coalition has improved its performance from that of 2011. At the present time, with 2,025 statements of poll counted, or about 88%, APNU+AFC has 182,176 votes, while the PPPC has 157,947, a variance of 24,229, a lead which we feel would be difficult to close, even if the statements of poll from the outstanding polling stations are included. The APNU+AFC coalition, therefore, after careful examination of the results, can be seen to have a commanding lead in the polls. APNU+AFC continues to urge its supporters to remain calm as the official announcement of the results of the elections is awaited. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Brigadier. I'll now invite the other members of the panel to make brief additional statements, beginning with the Prime Ministerial candidate, Mr. Nappy.
The commanding lead that we have in these elections have been the work of a broad group of fighters on the ground in all the regions. And we believe that we have made such tremendous gains in traditional PPP areas. The credit must go to the hard work of these fighters on the ground. And those who have worked on polling day in the various polling stations throughout Guyana beyond the normal expectation of a work period that would have ended at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, and perhaps some are still in working mode. We also wish to commend them, some who have had their children at home and they made the sacrifices to stay with the process. Though we have made our own announcement today in confidence, and we took into consideration the high confidence with which we entered the elections, we are still awaiting the official results, and so we are fully cooperating with Gcom to ensure the completion of this electoral process, from balloting to counting and the final declaration of results. These are my statements at this point.
Thank you, Mr. Nagamutu. Dr. Ruknarai.
Well, of course, APNU-AFC coalition is very heartened by the results of the polling. I wish to take this opportunity on behalf of the coalition to thank the polling clerks, the presiding officers, the polling agents across the 2,199 polling stations across the 10 regions. I believe their work, their dedication made election day the success that it was. And we are full of admiration for the tenacity and the discipline with which they carried out their labors. And as you know, because they had to be, in fact, locked in those polling stations well beyond, what I regard as a proper time and beyond human endurance, a matter to which we have drawn the attention of, the Guyana Elections Commission, which I think ought to make proper allowance and they must really make arrangements to guarantee the safety and comfort of the people inside of the polling stations. I just wish to say that we in the coalition believe that without the kind of service that they gave to the nation on election day, we could not have in fact had the kind of election that we did have. So we are in their debt. I also wish to say that while we are encouraged, of course, by the results of the election, I want to repeat what Mr. Granger has said, which is that at this present time, with so much uncertainty among members of the public, citizens, voters, we want to urge patience on the part of the voters who are, of course, anxious for the results of the elections, But we believe that, properly speaking, these elections have to be declared officially by the Guyana Elections Commission. And only a few more hours are left, and we are urging they remain calm, they remain patient, they remain disciplined, and ensure that no actions that will in fact spoil such a glorious election day should be entertained. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rukmarai. Members of the media, please put your phones on vibrate or silent. Mr.
Well,
Bob.
thank you. Well, few words that I can say is that I concur with all that has been said before, and the only significant thing I'd like to say is thank God for what has happened here today. Thank you.
Mr. Harman.
Well, all I would say is that Guyana has voted for change. We said that it was time for change, and I believe that today is a great day that that change will start. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Members of the media, please pose your questions, identify yourselves and the media house that you're representing. The gentleman from CMC.
Thank you.
Sir, sorry, kindly use the microphone.
Mr. Granger, Peter Richards, CMC Barbados. Here you are saying that despite the fact that at least there's a division, at least 24,000 votes still between your party and the ruling party, the Gcom has said that only it is responsible for issuing results, official results and what have you. They've also called on both parties not to more or less encourage any form of disobedience and civil, or if you want to put it in the words of Mr. Suraj Bali, peace and tranquility. My question to you is, given what you have just outlined, are you fearful that, let's say, at 6 o'clock, Gcom says figures what you have are not what they have? Are you fearful of that? And one, do you anticipate, if that be the case, that there likely to be some unrest or what have you?
Thank you for that question. No, I'm not fearful that our figures would be contradicted. We feel that given the experience of elections in Guyana, more harm could be done if there is an abnormal delay in the announcement of results. And we feel it is prudent, given the information that is available to us, to make an announcement to assure the public that the results are being tabulated and that they are entitled to know what is happening. We cannot keep them in an information void for 2 days. In most jurisdictions in the Western Hemisphere, people know within hours what the outcome is. I think we owe it to our public. The second point I'd like to make, sir, is that in our country we have a system in which statements of poll have to be published at each polling station after the ballots are counted. So in any event, this information is known. It's not secret information that is possessed by Gcom. Information is known because the law requires publication at the polling station once the count has been done. The next question you asked, I would like to point out that APNU+AFC has no interest whatsoever in any disorder or disobedience of the law. We have run a clean campaign. We have avoided abuse. We have avoided misuse of state resources. And we have been keen to obey the code of conduct that we signed. The people who have broken the code of conduct are the People's Progressive Party. I'd like to add too that given the tense situation in the country, which had been developing since December, when the PPP started to publish official press releases stating that if David Granger became president, the Demerara River will run red with blood. Pamphlets were issued showing David Granger alongside Saddam Hussein and Adolf Hitler. So people have been riled up for over 4 months by the PPP. I would like to point out that when elections were, or when voting day came about yesterday, people were anxious to have a peaceful election, and then there was deliberate provocation by the PPP. There were deliberate attempts to cause confusion late in the afternoon at the time of count. This was not accidental. This happened in a similar manner in 2011. So the disorder or appeals for law and order should be made to the People's Progressive Party, and particularly to Mr. Barra Jagdeo, who's been one of the instigators of hatred throughout the campaign.
Ms. Zima, do you have a question?
There was a Ragabir Prime News. It was almost similar to Mr. Richards. You have, just out of respect for the line of authority that Gcom has and the chairman's appeal for peace, don't you think that any preliminary or official count should have come from Gcom?
Thank you for that question. With modern media, it is impossible to prevent this dissemination of public information. I pointed out to the previous questioner that the information is already in the public domain. And it would be a denial of people's right to know for us to refuse to communicate with them. We have an obligation. It's not optional. We have an obligation to communicate with our supporters and the general public. And as he pointed out, in the Western Hemisphere, Guyana seems to take its own sweet time, believing that the entire country must wait until until whenever. And it has always caused a problem. There's no reason on earth why, by today, the Gcom should not make a public announcement. What are they waiting for? So I know they have a duty, but the duty must be performed expeditiously and with concern for the fact that people have been waiting for the results and time has passed. It's almost 22 hours now. People deserve to know quickly, to get on with their lives.
Next question, please.
Gordon Mosley, News Source. Mr. Granger, sir, last evening you met with the chairman of Gcom, or a team from the APNU+AFC.
What?
A team from the APNU+AFC, either or. So it's not just one of them. Right? You guys met last evening with the chairman of Gcom, sir, and an undertaking was given not to declare results or not have any of the parties declare results until the official declaration coming out of Gcom.
May I answer that?
Yes.
Was that made?
Mr. Mosley, the nature of the meeting, a team, a delegation comprising Dr. Rupert Ryan, Mr. Harmon, Mr. David Patterson, myself, did meet with Gcom commissioners, the entire commission, at about midnight last night, to address one specific concern, and that is that in a number of places on the eastern corridor, the East Coast, and in two areas in Region 5, West Coast, Berbice, Gcom was unable to retrieve important documents and statements of poll and move the ballot boxes because over-exuberant voters, electors had gathered and were concerned, perhaps even suspicious about the manner in which these documents and material were being moved. At no time did we have any discussion, gave no undertakings, or give any undertakings rather, to Gcom, because that was never under discussion. We addressed a specific issue and we came out with a working solution, which solution, in fact, bore fruit later in the wee hours of the morning. So I can state categorically that that was never the subject of discussion. And I repeat what Brigadier Granger has said. All that we are doing is repeating what is already out there. Starbuck News has been doing a fine job of posting results from statements of poll, which are posted outside of various polling places. So there's nothing criminal about it, nothing unethical or wrong about it. So we're just doing what, in fact, others are doing. In fact, I've been here all day that the former Minister of Legal Affairs has been giving a figure to say that the PPP has won by a margin of 3,000. No one seemed to have called him on that. Thank you.
But if I can, a quick follow-up, please. Gcom cannot publish any results if SOPs are not verified by all the commissioners sitting here. And just this morning, the CEO was talking about geographical and logistical declarations. They should not publish any results in breach of the law. What do you say to that? And even when you're calling them for the early release of results?
We have nothing again. We would expect that the Commission, if I may, would perform to the letter and spirit of both the Constitution and the Representation of the People Act. So they have their job to do, and we, as a political party, as a coalition and contested, we have our job to do, and we have a responsibility to those thousands, tens of thousands who supported us. Thank you.
Marcel and
Marcel Thomas, Starbuck News. As at 3:05 this afternoon, the ABC missions and the PSC has said that they've received or they have no indications or any complaints that can be of significance that would influence Gcom's official declaration of the results. My question to you is, as at 3:51, do you have any concerns or incidents that you feel that can alter Gcom's declaration?
We believe that the Ghana Elections Commission is suitably equipped to do the kind of additions which we have done. The presidential candidate has said that this is public document. It is public information. All we were doing was to collate that information which is out there on the statement of polls. So, in our view, all Gcom needs to do is to, once they have verified these statements of poll, all they have to do is do what we have done and make the declaration. We do not believe that there is anything extremely technical that should prevent Gcom from acting in an expeditious manner so that the fears of the Guyanese citizenry out there can be relieved and people can go about their normal business. We feel that what we have done here this afternoon is a requirement. It is our obligation to the people of this country to ensure that they understand what has happened to their votes. Thank you.
next question. Yes, Lord.
Gentlemen, you would have indicated that you would have calculated just over 2,000 statements of poll, 2,025, if I heard correctly. There are still some outstanding ones. Could you therefore give us a breakdown of the total number that you would have covered for Regions 4, Region 6, and some of the other regions, and where the outstanding ones would be coming from, and whether the outstanding ones would be, the numbers that could come in would be of any significance?
You want to go?
Yes. What I can say to you is that we have done a very careful calculation of these, the statement of poll, and we believe that based on the number of statements of polls that should have been calculated, that will be 2,299. We have calculated 2,225, and that based on all that has happened here, based on the outstanding amounts of statements of polls to be added, that there is no way that the PBP can close this gap which we have opened up. There's no way that can happen. I can give you the information. I can give you the information on a public document. I can give you the information on a document subsequent to this press conference, but just please understand that what we have done, we've done a very careful calculation of all of the regions of Guyana, and that that information is available, which we can share with you at a later stage.
Folks, I know you're distracted, but could we have another question, please? Yes, Mr. Woodward.
Just clarify whether it's 2,225 or 2,025.
2025.
Oh, that's what I thought I heard.
Any other
We're hearing what's going on downstairs right now. Are you afraid that the same jubilation may stretch across Georgetown and that there could be disappointment? Or are you flat out saying you have won based on everything within your view?
Mr. Mosley, I don't know which part of the statement you're referring to. The Brigadier Granger has read a statement. I haven't heard anything else said extemporaneously that would match the word you have used. We have said that we have a commanding lead in the polls. You're trying to make a conclusion, and we have said also what I have listened to in a famous advertisement in Guyana of spices, whether in master pot, they're in me pot. The information we have here would be information that is available to Gcom. It would be information that would be available to the public as public information. It's all over the social media, and as was said in the one of the newspapers running these numbers. So what we did here is to sum up these figures coming from all 10 regions. And therefore, we believe that the Guyanese people are going to react in a way that they would find appropriate, in keeping with their own feelings, that they have gone through a very energetic campaign in which the party of their choice had exercised restraint and discipline and has dealt with the issues, and therefore jubilation for them is a matter of a response. We are not giving these figures to excite that response. We are giving these figures in keeping with our obligations to all of the people who voted in these elections, because these are figures that have been sent to us by our polling agents in each of the polling division that they had been assigned, and these are now figures that have been, or statements that have been posted. So we are still saying that in this election there would be one winner, that will be Guyana. And we're appealing to all concerned that they have to respond to whatever disclosures are made with restraint and with responsibility, and that all should keep the calm, and all of us should work in cooperation to ensure that the final results are declared, which will be the official results, the only official results. And we are here not trying to do, as you said, to pronounce loser or winner at this point in time.
One final question,
A
yes.
quick follow-up. You're saying, let me just quote you, we have a commanding lead in the poll. That's what you said. You've just finished saying that. And Mr. Granger said, even though the rest of the polls are added up or what have you, they will not be able to catch up with the
The words
figures.
David Granger used were a lead that will be difficult to close.
To close, precisely. A lead difficult to close. Interpretation could mean that you cannot lose. Am I right in that interpretation?
There are two things on the table. One is that there's a commanding lead, and two, that it would be difficult to close.
But I'm asking for an interpretation.
Well, you can,
Peter, you've been in this for a lifetime since we know each other, and you know that you cannot put words in our mouth. You will have to give it the interpretation, and you will have to editorialize as best you feel you can with what we have given you. We give you the material. You could go to work, Peter, and you could spin your headlines.